Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Machakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us His truth and that's still teaching His truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believe in who Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai will deliver in these last days. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another quick lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson today will be edifying. And I wanted to do a quick lesson on what you see here on the screen. And what you see here on the screen is an article that reads ADL, which is short for the Anti-Defamation League. If you criticize Israel, you are a terrorist. All right, if you criticize Israel, you are a terrorist. You see, and this is exactly what the global elite want in the stance of what you see going on right now in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, and this whole thing about Israel getting bombed by the Palestinians, and there was no kind of warning. There was no kind of defense that took place in regarding to this, this barrage of missiles and barrage of troops that just all of a sudden just not randomly, but that just got across that came across the fence and came across their borders with no kind of defense, letting you know that this was all an inside job. Okay, because the state of Israel and those Israelis, they've always been on an expansion project, okay? Whereas you have something called the Greater Israel Project, where they want to pretty much establish the land going back to the blessing that was given unto Abraham. Okay, they want to establish that plot of land in the sense of from the Nile River all the way over to the Euphrates. You see? But you got Esau trying to establish that on this side because he ultimately wants to establish the birthright, the blessing, which he can't get. You see? And with this taking place right now, you have people's emotions being riled up and people's emotions being pretty much flared up in this stance, whereas you're going to have celebrities. You already have celebrities that are openly coming out, and pretty much choosing their side in the stance when it comes to the 1948ers over there that got that land illegally, which those Palestinians over there ain't the rightful owners of the land either. You see, but everybody's just pro-Israel. There's bombs being dropped. There's kids being put in cages, but there's no video recordings of it though. There's no proof of that happening. They're just saying it, and the media is saying it on this side, letting you know that this is all a psyops, man. Okay, the scripture says, when you get into 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter, the 11th verse, it tells you that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Or is it 2 Corinthians? Is it 2 Corinthians 2? Right. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, we're not ignorant of the schemes of the devil. We're not ignorant of his devices and the plans and the plots that he is setting, and the snares that he's setting to get people riled up, to get people, to place people in a category. You see? Because he's already the accuser of our brethren. He's already the accuser of Jacob. You see? So these Jakes that are going to, quote unquote, take sides, if you will. I'm on the sides of the Palestinian. I'm on the side of Israel. You had Amari Stoudemire, through Mari Stoudemire is what I like to call him, coming out openly, which he probably was told to say that, who knows, but coming out openly saying, you guys that are in support of kids and old and, and women and children and older people getting, killed, F y'all, this, that, and the third. Well, the scripture says way worse than that. Hey, how about the Lord said, he said, slay utterly old and young maids and little children. When you read in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, when you go into the history of our conquest into the land of Canaan, when you read Deuteronomy 7, All right, everything got destroyed, man. The Lord told us to kill everybody and don't leave nothing. You see? But these, people been in the West too goddamn long, and people's emotions are being stirred up, man. The scripture says that the least of the flock are going to draw them out. And that's obviously going into the sense of military wise, but you got people being drawn out by way of their emotions too. It's drawing out the emotions in these people as well, man. You see, hey, the scripture says this. The scripture says that a kingdom divided can't stand. All right, this is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Because now you have these protests that are taking place within the states of people coming out to be pro-Palestinian, with the pro-Palestinian flags, in support of Palestine in this whole regard. And then you have people, having a pro-Israel stance, and that's nothing more than just bringing more and more division, which that's what the Lord said he was going to do. Okay, remember the Lord said he came not to bring peace, but a sword. He said nay. He also said nay, but rather division. Okay. Luke 12 and 51, it says, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, meaning no, but rather division. So before Yahushua returns physically, there's going to be a grand division that's going to be taking place. Okay, now let's go to this article. It says Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt declared on Monday that anybody who dares criticize Israel is a terrorist and Hamas sympathizer. Okay, so if you speak out against this whole issue as being, an inside job or a hoax or whatever the case may be, which we say these things because we're telling the truth about the fact of the matter. And we don't give a damn what these devils do. The cat's already out the bag. All right, this devil's already being exposed. You got their own so-called rabbis that are saying that this is an inside job. And that lines up with prophecy. When you read in Psalm 64, it says that their own tongues will fall upon themselves. You see? And if their own tongues would fall upon themselves, that lets you know, that lets you know that this whole deal is set up. You see? And this is the Lord causing this to happen. So that a powder keg can be created. All right. And this is another form of the devil coming down with great wrath. He's going to get these people that go on social media and say all these things. You will be a target. You will be a target. OK, it says, according to Greenblatt, people who voice anti-Israel or pro-anti-Israel, you got to read between the lines of what's being said here, anti-Israel or pro-Palestine opinions are accomplices in Hamas's attacks who will end on the ashes of history. So if you are against the state of Israel or you're pro-Palestine and you have an opinion about it, that means that you're an accomplice in what happened in Israel, and you will be labeled a terrorist. You see? And this lines up with Isaiah the 29th chapter. I mean, because ultimately, who's the ones that's really speaking out against those people in the land that aren't truly the people? Who's really doing it? It's us. Because we understand and know that we are the true people and those are imposters. Okay? Isaiah 29 verse 20, it says, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. And this is exactly what they're doing. They're just watching and plotting to do mischief and evil. The scriptures tell you that they can't even go to sleep. What's that? Proverbs, the 4th chapter, I want to say it is. It might be Proverbs 4 and 16, maybe. Let me see. Yep. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16. It says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief. You see, so they can't even go to sleep unless they've done some wickedness, man. And you better believe that this whole thing was planned and set up. At the same time, you had the alerts going off on your phone over here last week. Russia had, nuclear fallout drills taking place in their whole country. Then Israel had alerts going off on the phone on the same day. Here it is, a mosquito can't come up into their borders and without it even being known and caught on their sensors, man. They got automatic weapons and drones, AI technology that can shoot on the dime if they even notice any kind of movement on their borders. But this just happened openly, and you had people parachuting in. People parachuting in Humvees, just driving across their borders. Here it is. They boast on their Iron Dome missile defense system, which is one of the most sophisticated, quote unquote, one of the most sophisticated defense systems on the planet. But they didn't catch this. Things that just make you say, right? It says, "For they sleep not, except they do mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." You see, they gotta cause individuals to be snared up and trapped in this whole thing going on, man. And this is how they move worldwide, man. This is what they do worldwide with the whole media machine. CNN, Fox News, CNBC, MSN. They control all these major news networks. So they'll create a narrative in a story as if they're the victim when they're truly the ones that are creating the chaos. You see, that's what a devil would do. Okay? So it says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word." You see that? So now, if you openly criticize what happened in Israel, you are an offender of a word. Now you're labeled as now you could be labeled as a domestic terrorist. You see? And this whole thing with 9/11 that took place, in the Patriot Act, labeled American citizens pretty much a potential domestic terrorist, man. You see, this is them passing laws and working evil upon their beds, as is written in Micah 2. It says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. You see, because who's the one truly reproving these devils to their face? Standing up at the gates, as it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter. That they may come into the gates of the nobles and accuse him to his face. This is us. We're the ones that's doing that. And the scripture says that they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. They know, man. They know who we are. They know what's going on. But the Lord is putting it in their spirit to move a lot faster. So even with them moving a lot faster, you can clearly see that this was a setup. You had 9/11. That happened. And that was the last thing. That we've seen. But hey, the apostles and elders said, they were saying for the longest that you're going to begin to see more, quote unquote, T attacks ramp up, and this is one of them. And don't be surprised if they set something up over here. And say that it was a pro Hamas group that did it or whatever. You can't put it past these devils, man. It says, "And lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught." All right, let's take a look at this and listen.
I am sick and tired of it, and I am disgusted, not just by the atrocities, although that's enough, but by their accomplices. Here in New York, marching in front of my office, saying resistance. Let me tell you something, rape is not resistance. Murder is not a political movement.
Listen to everything he's saying. Rape is not resistance. Murder is not a political movement. Let's continue.
And these people will end where evil always does. on the ashes of history.
Pretty much openly telling you that, you know, you can say goodbye to those Palestinian people over there, because watch what's about to happen to them, because nobody really cares about the Palestinians over there, man, and nobody wants them. But when you go into the occupation of the land of Israel, you know, you had the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and then back in 1917, and then going all the way up until 1948, up until now, they was just completely just moving Palestinians out the land, killing them, putting them into settlements and things of that nature. Pretty much, it was like the internment camps in a sense. You know, that's what they was doing that whole time, to the occupation of the land. You see, but now, you know, but the time of the Gentiles being in that land is fulfilled, man. So now vengeance is on the way. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is on the way to rid out our enemies, man. Specifically the Amalekites, man. This is the house of Amalek that's in that land. Greenblatt's entire shtick has been pressuring social media companies to censor users for using dehumanizing language, which could lead to real-world violence. And yet now that Israel is threatened, he's out dehumanizing Palestinians and their supporters to facilitate Israel's genocidal siege on Gaza. And that's exactly what it is. You pretty much, you're putting people into a subcategory, which is what they've done, you know, to Jake. Okay? And if you say anything about these people, man, you can forget about it. Let's listen to this.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם, ואנחנו נוהגים.
We are fighting human animals. So the whole state of Gaza locked down, besieged, no food, no water, no electricity. You see? And this is what they doing. Okay? And if you and with your opinions, if you will, on this are pro-Palestinian, you will be targeted. You will be targeted, man. And you better believe that these devils, man, they gonna have sleeper cells set up, you know, to bring forth mischief and chaos, you know, to bring forth their agenda, order out of chaos, man. So be on the lookout, man. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, and we can see straight through this thing. We can see straight through this through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. We see straight through what's happening. So with that, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the 1/3 that believe. Until next time, I say shalom.